And now, Alcoa presents Definitely Not a Jew on the Adam Carolla Show. Dateline, St. Petersburg, Florida. A 23-year-old man was arrested for disorderly conduct and public intoxication at a seafood restaurant called Rick's Reef. The man reportedly sexually molested a mannequin of a manatee and threw food at staff and patrons. The food in question was gator nuggets. Definitely not a Jew.
All right, Chad and JT are hanging with us, and we'll get into some news right now.
Yeah. So Danny Masterson has now been moved to a medium security prison in San Luis Obispo. They said, according to sources, a law enforcement source, the move comes after concerns for the inmates' well-being. So remember, he was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison after being found guilty in May on 2 counts of forcible rape. So he's at the California Men's Colony, which is comprised of 2 separate complexes referred to the East Facility and the West Facility. The East Facility offers a myriad of educational and self-help programs to the inmate population, while the West houses medium and minimum security for qualifying inmates, including firefighters working with CAL FIRE captains to fight wildfires and respond to natural disasters around California.
Yeah, that's what I'd want to be on. They made, let's see, Howie Long made a movie where he's a firefighter,
Firestorm, was that that one?
dropped, They always, I don't know why. Somebody, starting with Broken Arrow, they were like, Howie Long's going to be an action hero.
Yeah.
I would love just a list of, this guy's going to be the next Schwarzenegger that just never really worked. I think Howie Long is on that list.
The finishing move in Firestorm, him and the dude are fighting. I think it's William Forsythe. They're fighting in the water and it's getting heated up.
Right.
And they're under a canoe, and Howie Long just picks him up and sticks his head through the canoe, and his head melts.
All right, so good. I didn't even know what his story was. He raped 2 people or something, but then it was a long time ago, and Jesus Christ, everyone's fucked.
That 70s show.
That 70s show, which I never watched. But that 70s show was an example of a show where it was supposed to be called like Teenage Wasteland or something,
right, yeah.
and they couldn't get the thing cleared from the Who or something, and they just called it That 70s Show. They're like, when you create shows, which I've done before, you give them a name sometimes, and you go, well, we'll think of the name later. This is just the name we're going to use for now so we know what we're talking about. And they just called it That 70s Show so many times that they just stuck with it.
That's how the Alan Parsons Project became the Alan Parsons Project.
Oh, really?
Because the suits throughout Abbey Road Studios to say, how's that Alan Parsons Project coming?
Right.
And then the name just stuck.
Yeah, it's like, I guess it's like if you get a dog and the dog goes by a name, but you go, we'll name it at some point. But once it goes by the name for a while, it just sticks. Like Gary Busey's dog, Scooby, Sorry.
Right. So you would pick the facility where you're a firefighter?
I'd go with the firefighting facility. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The other one's just educational. That one seems like it has a lot.
I'm not interested in education.
Can I say something about Danny Masterson? I think he looks like the perfect prison boyfriend. I bet you there's a very competitive marketplace for his booty right now.
Yeah.
Because he's not too hot where it feels alienating. He kind of feels like still relatable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Did you see the photo of SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, that just came out in prison? It's him and like a few blood gang members.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's just standing there. He looks kind of tough. He looks kind of tough. He's just, you're like, damn.
He's probably standing. They were like, I'm going to go hang out with the cryptos.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, Crips. Yeah, I understand this world. I'll speak to these gentlemen. They speak my language. And he's like, no, you're going to get stabbed. Well, how should I get stabbed? They named their gang after me.
Cryptos and the Bloods.
The Cryptos and the Bloods. He should start a gang called the Cryptos.
Apparently some of the inmates were like, he's weird as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But he could probably, I mean, it's probably a thing, you know, like Shawshank, where he's going to start teaching them about financial responsibility or something, or how to crunch numbers, or what fungible means.
Totally.
I made it from 0 to 57 without ever hearing the word fungible. Mm-hmm. Then I've heard it 2,000 times in the last 28 months.
I thought fungible was like fun in gel form.
Yeah, like liquid soap. All right.
Did you see and also like Mark Zuckerberg hanging out with the UFC guys? Did you see that?
Yeah, someone's Volkanovski.
Yeah, looked. People are saying it looked pretty awkward, a little out of place, just kind of hanging there, trying to.
What ends up happening with rich guys, like I've seen it a little bit. You box or you do something, you got a trainer, and at some point the trainer, because it's like kind of part of his job, talks you up a little bit, like, hey man, you're pretty heavy-handed. You got some pop in that right hand, you know. And then these guys start thinking, you know, and then the trainer will say to whoever, if I got hold of you a few years earlier, you definitely could have fought me, you know. And then you start thinking about shit, and now you start rolling with these guys a little bit, and everyone's kind of going half speed, but you start buying it. Yeah. And I think he's getting to that place. I mean, he could be skilled at it, and he could be good at it, but he's super rich, and once you take a fucking elbow to the temple, like you're just going to stop, right? Yeah. Like a normal person would.
Yeah, I don't know
but
if
maybe if he can jack them off before they get into the octagon.
I mean, if Mark wants some training from like an elite jacker offer, I'll help him out with something. I mean, I do question if he really has the tenacity to make it happen when a dude doesn't want to bust, but that's when you find out what kind of dog you are.
That's right. Mm-hmm. All right.
All right. So NASA, they're looking for people to live in a Mars simulator right now.
I don't want to do it myself, but I'd like to nominate people to do it. You know, I got a list like Yoko Ono, Kevin Smith, J-Lo. Huh?
This is a fake Mars, though.
It still gets them out of society, right?
Yeah.
All right, that's good enough. They can live in Biodome.
Yeah, Yoko, K. Smith, and J-Lo just playing poker every night.
Just to kind of get them out of circulation. So I don't have to hear J-Lo's take on her next album or what she was trying to do as a woman or, you know, any of that shit. You know, just take a break. I'll go put Sofia Vergara in there. Grab Whoopi Goldberg. And it'll be people how long do they live there?
A year.
Imagine a year of not fucking hearing Whoopi Goldberg's thoughts on something for a year. I mean, we got an election coming up. If Donald Trump gets elected, we're going to have to listen to that fucking nut job Whoopi Goldberg talk for the next 4 years. You know what I mean?
Where are you hearing from Whoopi?
She's out. She's around.
Do you watch The View?
I don't watch The View, but everyone makes fun of The View, and then they play the clip of them saying something stupid. I don't think The View is actually watched. I think Sean Hannity has a producer that watches The View, and that's their only viewer. And then he pulls a stupid clip of them saying
something. They should just send the tape straight to Hannity.
And then, because Whoopi's saying the kumquats are racist, you know, and then they pull the clip, and then they give it to Hannity.
Each episode's an embarrassment of riches for Hannity.
Right.
So this mission, you live there for a year. Mm-hmm. So it's a 1,700 square foot Mars simulation. Mm-hmm. It simulates a future Mars habitat with separate areas for living and working.
Could we get Miley Cyrus in there as well?
Ooh.
I just don't need any more out of her.
Are we sure we want to lose her?
I'm not saying kill her. I'm saying just take a year off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can she still post photos?
I suppose they'll have their phones in
Wi-Fi there.
Yeah, there's a lot of technology.
I mean, the way she climbed out of the Liam situation, super inspo for me.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe I've changed my mind on her. How about Jason Momoa?
Dude, yeah, he needs a break.
He needs a reset. We need a
reset.
break from him.
And now he's doing like all kids movies and stuff. And I'm like, come on, man, like rip some domes off.
Yeah. I need a break from Jason Momoa.
Do you not like him in the latest Fast?
I liked him. I need some time apart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, is he like grunge rock?
Do you think he's surrounded by too many jacker offers?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does look a little depleted, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs to build up his load.
Yeah.
A little retention would do him well in his performance.
He's got the show on Netflix where he goes from town to town and they like restore vintage Indian motorcycles or something. And I think he's just doing his impression of what he would do. Like he must think to himself, what? He looks like it. He acts like it. He like talks like it. It's like he could never, like if he rode a motorcycle, he could never just get a new Honda and ride. He's got to have something weird and rusty and funky town. Like you know the guys that like he could never just drive a regular car. He could never just ride a regular motorcycle. Everything has to be a choice, and it's all like this weird stylistic thing all the time. And I just need a break. That's all.
Right there with you. Do you think he might actually be more into like wallpaper, but he knows that wouldn't sell, so he pretends that it's about bikes?
I just feel like he's doing this impersonation of a caricature of what we think he is. That's it.
I know he carries a knife on him at all times.
Yeah, really?
That's part of it.
Well, maybe he'd stab Whoopi if he was in the dome.
Well,
I haven't worked it all out,
let's
but
see if they
I
can
could use
last
a
in this. Let's
break.
imagine them in the
Chronicles of
dome.
Riddick style.
So each person, they would have their own living quarters. They get a workspace, a medical station, lounge areas, a galley, and food growing stations. So there's limited resources. Volunteers will go on simulated spacewalks, but they have to work to maintain the habitat. So they have to grow the crops, work with robotics. And it's going to kick off in 2025, so 6 years.
Is a simulated spacewalk the best we can do is a swimming pool? Because every time I see the simulated space, it's just in a swimming pool.
That makes sense.
I know, but that's all we got?
What about,
You're NASA. You got to do better. We got the Vomit Comet, and we got them in a swimming pool.
Do they have a big like anti-gravity vacuum? They like suck out the.
I'm saying there should be something better than a swimming pool.
Yeah,
I know.
That's all we got.
We're 5 years after Blade Runner. We should
That's
have
right.
this technology.
yeah.
I'll go because then I could be the first YouTuber on Mars and just corner the market.
Oh,
Wow. That's
well,
smart.
they have to qualify, you have to be a quote motivated U.S. citizen.
You got to worry about jacking dudes off in zero gravity.
Oh,
Yeah, the
You're going to
splooge
want
is
to
just gonna
prepare
be
for that.
floating.
You're going to be living with it for a while.
no boundaries.
Yeah.
That's like the fly shooting gun getting turned on me.
You'd have to use that to get the splooge out of the
Yeah,
sky.
You can hit a load from about 10 feet away.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that happens on like the International Space Station where some guy gets lonely and he needs to bust a load, but then
It gets out.
Usually you go into like a tissue, right? But you're in no gravity. It just
You got to catch it.
Yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
floating by. I'm like, Chad, you want to take responsibility for your loads a little bit?
Or
like,
somebody-
who's
This
somebody
isn't your
opens
mother's
a-
zero gravity
somebody
space
opens
unit.
a
All right, we're not
cupboard.
cleaning up after you.
Some guy's going to open a cupboard to get like a snack and your splooge floating
Yeah,
out
dude,
of
this is
it.
like 6 gallons. We've been in space for 2 days. How about you chill a bit?
And you're going to have to get like a butterfly net and chase it around. You know what I mean? And then there's going to be accusations. Like, that's not my splooge,
That's not
dude.
my splooge.
Oh, you know it's your splooge.
I know what my splooge smells like. That's not my splooge. That is his splooge every day of the week. I can
And
tell
then,
you.
like, something would happen where it'd short out some electrical equipment, like some navigational equipment.
that awful gunk.
And then the guy'd get on the radio and go, "We got an issue here." And you'd be like, "Come on now. Seriously."
Yeah, and they'd have to call in an engineer at Houston who's a 13-year-old kid because he knows all about getting splooge out of things. This kid's got the state-of-the-art knowledge we need.
Bringing in a pro.
Yeah. All right. We have 15-second loop of spacewalk simulators.
Oh. Think they have NASA splooge
no.
tube socks?
I don't.
They're just in recliners.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, we
Pool's
don't
better than this.
really have simulators. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, well,
Armageddon, they
also-
train in a pool.
So you have to be between the age of 30 and 55. Mm-hmm. You must speak English and be a non-smoker. Mm-hmm. And you have to have a master's in engineering, math, biology, or other science, or have 1,000 hours of piloting experience. And you may be compensated for the mission.
Sounds like I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right.
Adam, if you could go to space, like on just like a mission to space, would you do it? Just back in up and back?
I think I'd do it just to say I did it. I don't know. I mean, I don't have the obsession with it that a lot of people do, and then I feel like they say it's going to change your perspective, and then they come back down, and then 10 minutes later, I think it's like a near-death experience where you go, I'm going to start really living right, and 10 minutes later, you're just watching fucking TV, yelling at your kid, kicking your dog around. You know, like, I don't know. But I would definitely give it a shot.
I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
You do it.
Every time we do psychedelics, you talk about wanting to go to space.
Yeah, it's true. We're on a mountain in San Clemente. I was looking at the ocean. I was like, you just gotta go up there next.
Got to go up.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
So Madonna took a slight fall during her concert in Seattle, and there's video of it. So while performing a song, she mounts a chair and is dragged by a running dancer to the other side of the stage.
Yeah, but it's a dude in high heels, and that's why he ate shit.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy about because he should have been wearing Earth shoes. This wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, Earth's shoes have the negative heel.
Why is he wearing those? Is he insecure about his height?
Madonna can't just leave sex alone. Everything's got to be weird and androgynous and a statement, and every guy's got to dress like a chick, and every chick has to dress like a dude. Like there's just something, and he's got stiletto heels on and he eats shit, and plus he's a dude, so he wasn't wearing heels when he was 15. Madonna gave him the heels when he was 30, and he doesn't know how to fucking move in those heels.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad he ate shit. I'm glad she ate shit as well, because he's a fucking idiot wearing heels. And you can't listen. I saw the vid. Like you're gonna. I don't like to talk about myself, but here goes.
Okay, let's try it.
When I was doing Dancing with the Stars, I was compelled to ride a unicycle for one of the dances, and they give you dance shoes, and the dance shoes are smooth, slick leather on the bottom, slippery. And I was riding a unicycle, and I realized I don't think I can ride it very well with these slippery, slick shoes on, and it's a high-pressure environment, and I don't want my foot to slip off. And I prepped the pedals. Like, I tried it a couple times, like at home, in my dance shoes, and my foot was sliding all over the place. And I just took, like, gaffer's tape, like cloth tape, and I wrapped it a couple of times around the pedals, and I found I got a better grip out of it. And what I'm saying is if you're going to drag Madonna around in a folding chair in stilettos, you got to fucking work on those shoes. You got to get some skid action going down there. You got to take some rubber and double stick it to the bottom. Glue it on there, like you got to scuff that shit. You can't just be on a smooth stage in your smooth ass heels dragging that sack of shit around on a chair.
Yeah, if I'm a dance choreo boss, that dude's getting lashed. There's no way you can do that kind of mistake, especially when we're live.
Right.
I don't stand for that.
Well, she laughed it off, and and obviously kept the show going. But
Yeah,
She laughed it off in the moment, but I bet you backstage,
he's out.
Broski's dead.
yeah.
So there's a man who in D.C. who thought he won a $340 million Powerball jackpot. So he goes online, checks his numbers, and he uses the same numbers every time. It's a combination of family birthdays and other numbers of
Just
personal
say
significance.
science. It's science.
Science. He's science. And he goes to the store to turn it in, or the liquor store, and they take it and they're like, oh, this one's dead, and they throw it out. And he's like, what are you talking about? And so he calls the lottery, and they said, oh, we put the wrong numbers online.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like if on the, wherever else we posted, it's been right, but they're incorrectly inputted on the website. So sorry, tough luck. And now he's suing them.
Yeah. Which you have to, because everyone has to sue everyone now all the time. And by the way, lotto players are probably the most likely to sue because they have no idea how to earn money. They're in the business of free money or attempts at free money, so they're going to be much more likely to sue you than a successful orthodontist. That's what I'm thinking.
I hope this doesn't alienate us to anyone, but me and Chad actually sued Mongo's dad, Mr. Headbutt, because he couldn't bust, and we both got arthritis in our hands and had to quit tennis.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When you were trying to beat off Mongo?
Mongo's
His dad.
Oh, wait, you were trying to beat off his dad?
Yeah, Mr. Headbutt.
Oh, so Mongo was fine.
Mongo's good. He can come.
He's a great beat off.
Yeah, he's easy.
Yeah.
But the dad.
The dad's stubborn as hell.
So the acorn did fall pretty far from the tree.
Yeah, absolutely. And his dad was real huge behind the whole mortgage crisis. And so we were trying to get him to relax, and he just couldn't bust. And then next thing you know, my hand's not working right when I'm swinging my forehand.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is it still pending, or did he settle with you guys?
There's a settlement,
Oh.
pretty large.
But you can't.
Amount of
Can't
bust.
really disclose.
Pretty much a large amount of bust. I mean, the thing with him too is it was just, you know, it was just a floppy experience, is what I'm gonna say.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you caught him on a bad day.
Classy. We tried for...
Multiple days?
Yeah, we came back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
We don't
you
stop
came
until
back.
the jump. Still.
He booked
You know,
out a
Harry
week.
Stamper, I have never missed my mark.
Harry Stamper, back to the pool.
He booked out a whole week.
Oh, we booked out. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So that's where that's where the
But
carpal
even
tunnel.
after- it's just like-
you can't even hold a pen.
Yeah, I have a flimsy wrist because I broke it rollerblading twice. And I told him about that. I'm like, you know, I rollerbladed with your son. I beat him off several times. You know, it's weak. I
Right.
can't keep jacking you like this. And he was like,
So he knew
well,
it.
you know, you don't have grit. And when someone tells me,
Oh
I don't have grit,
that's where you
overdid it.
dig deep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like you didn't have the intestinal fortitude to jack off a 51-year-old.
Yeah, he's like, this is a problem with your generation.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, he tried to make it like that, like we're namby-pamby, dude.
Oh.
I was like, I've worked for every load I've ever gotten, dude. All right? Nothing came easy on my streets of jacking.
He's like, millennials can't even jack off. I'm
I
like,
know.
yeah.
A lot of these
School of
guys
hard
think
cocks.
they think just because you're successful, you're born with a silver load of jizz in your mouth.
Yeah.
Like, do you think you're, you know, they're like, oh, you're born on jizz third and thought you hit a home run.
Yeah, they're like, mom and dad handed you all your jizz. I'm like, no, not the jizz.
little nepo jizzer.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that we work for it. You guys work for it.
We work from the bottom up.
Yeah. No seed money.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I start at the middle, but yeah, but I got you. What else we got, Chris?
So, the publisher of the New York Times has acknowledged that the White House has been really unhappy with how the newspaper has been covering President Biden and concerns about his age.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
People talk shit on Biden. I saw a highlight of him from 52 years ago, and he was ripping.
Yeah, it was sharp. Yeah, had all his hair. It was awesome.
He was already kind of bald. It was fun.
Yeah, the thing that's most surprising about the era we're living in is when CNN or the New York Times starts actually telling the truth about the president. It seems shocking and surprising. Like, look what they're talking. What are they saying on CNN? Like, well, they're saying Biden may be old, and maybe a lot of independent voters think he's too old. And they're like, that's CNN. What are you guys doing? And it's like, it's like you're at a baseball game and the umpire has been calling it for one team the entire time, and at some point the other team slides into home and he goes, safe. And you go, what?
Yeah.
What just happened? What are you doing? You're not doing your job. Your job is to be calling for the other team the whole time. It plays as confusing, like, initially. And I guess the White House has to be sort of confused or angered too, because they're like, you guys know what your job is.
Yes.
You know, and why don't you do your job, which is protect us?
So the Times says, we are just stating the truth fully and plainly, but we're also doing that in a way that is unemotional. We are not anyone's opposition, and we're not anyone's lapdog.
Oh, something's happened over there. So when the news turns on Biden, then that means that's it with Biden, because that's all he had was the news.
Right.
So now he's screwed.
Well,
all right.
Do you think that they've reached a point where they're trying to install someone else?
I think we're getting. I think once he loses CNN and the New York Times, then it's time to start talking about going to the bullpen.
Are they trying to put Newsom in, do you think?
Oh, my God. Newsom, I was funny. I was talking to Newsom, and I was talking to a guy about it the other day, and I said, Newsom doesn't understand how he's perceived outside of California. Mm-hmm. People who live outside of California look at California as a joke, and they look at him as a clown, and there would no way they would want to franchise this, but he doesn't know it because he's there's something wrong with Newsom. Like there's something clinically wrong. Like there's bizarrely sociopathic in his construct. Like I've talked to him for an hour. There's something clearly wrong with him. He answers questions in the most bizarre way ever. I always think about him being asked, like, people are leaving California. Where else are you going to go? Well, they're going everywhere. Well, I know a couple that moved to Utah, and they're very happy. Like, that doesn't track. He doesn't understand how he's perceived. I don't think. Outside of California, everyone looks at him as a joke. Nobody wants California brought. They don't want California politics brought to their town or their state because it'll ruin their state. But he doesn't think of himself that way. He thinks of himself as sort of a successful matinee idol who the crowds cheer for. And I just said, Gavin Newsom is the world's shittiest. He's a hood ornament on the world's shittiest car. California is the car, and it's a piece of shit, and he's the hood ornament, and he's like, we've arrived to your town, and everyone's going, we don't want what you're fucking selling because you're ruining California, because everyone is leaving California because you're fucking it up. And he's sociopathic. There's something wrong with him. I don't know how else to describe him. I've interviewed him for an hour. We talked in a circle for an hour. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. There's something broken and bizarre with him.
How do you think he's perceived nationally, though?
He has to be horrible because he is the coach of a team that goes, 1-16 in the NFL every single year, and then he announces, "I'm taking my coaching skills and I'm bringing it to the open market." And everyone's like, "Your team is a joke. You lose, and everyone leaves your team and goes on waivers and gets picked up by a real team." Like, I have no idea what he thinks of himself, but he thinks highly of himself, even though California is considered a joke.
That analogy of the team thing is good as long as it has a huge fan base that doesn't follow the schedule and never has been to a game.
Well, that's what California is. But outside of California, people follow the schedule and they look at scores.
But I hear totally sane and otherwise people that I respect, like Stephen A. Smith. I heard him go say, "We need Gavin Newsom." I'm like, no, we don't.
No, nobody needs Gavin Newsom. The French
But
Laundry needs Gavin Newsom.
There are intelligent people who are pushing Gavin Newsom.
It's scary. Well, really.
By the way, our projected $56 billion deficit in the state of California.
Yeah.
It's now 70.
Yeah.
Is that a bigger number? Worse?
Billion.
Bigger's worse. These are people. Look, these are never Trumpers. The Bill Maher's and the Stephen A. Smith. Nobody thinks Gavin Newsom's good at what he does. They hate Trump so much. They realize that Biden is a fucking wounded deer. Like, he's literally a deer that got shot in the hip and is just kind of walking in a circle. And at some point, he's going down and the vultures are coming in. And guys like Bill Maher and these other guys go, "We got this other guy. He's bright. He's tall. He's got nice teeth. Just fucking slug him in and we'll take our chances because it's anything but Trump." And they think Newsom might have a chance. But it's really based on Biden being a wounded deer than it is on belief in Gavin Newsom. And no, Gavin Newsom's not going to sell any more than Kamala Harris sells.
You don't think he'd do better than her?
I think, anybody would do better than her because she's so hated and she's so incompetent and she's an affirmative action hire. So no one really believes that she should be there in the first place. And he would do better than her. But he's not going to work in the middle of the country.
No, we were just doing shows in Florida, and during the Q&A, they started trashing him.
Newsom? Yeah, everyone hates Newsom.
So I was just saying that he could take DeSantis' chick if he wanted to. That was my defense of California.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's kind of hot. What's her name is DeSantis. Is like his wife's pretty cute.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Newsom might.
just because we were from California, they were calling us the Booster Boys.
Yeah, well, they were like, are you guys vaccinated? I'm pretty liberal. I'm like, I've been vaccinated 38 times. And I do one every day, so whatever. Back off. They got so much pride because they're different. I'm like, you're not better, you're just different.
Yeah, the boost. That's part of our merch. Is you get a nice.
You get a boost?
Yeah.
Oh,
Booster
you're not
boys,
doing
bro.
the beer koozies anymore?
No,
Nah,
you just get
You get the
BOGO
boost.
boosters.
It did make me laugh because then I started thinking about Kelsey doing like the Pfizer ad, and like I like Travis Kelsey a lot, but it would be funny if like we were at that level and someone was like, "Hey, do you want to represent the vaccine?" And you're just on a billboard flexing. With like it's an odd project to put your energy into.
Yeah.
Although I am super boosted though.
If you pay VIP, you get RSV as well.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
The billboard could look like the Triple X poster.
yeah, dude.
Flexing
That's
that
sick.
tricep.
If they let me have a gun, I would do it with the.
The Booster Boys coming to town.
All right, one more.
So in Cape Town, they launched an investigation because a foul stench has swept over the South African city. So city officials inspected sewage facilities for leaks.
It always comes from the ocean, doesn't it?
Well, in this case, it did. Yes.
Any smell that takes over a town, that's not,
It's
a
not internal.
dumpster. It's not bad pussy. It's the ocean. You know, when it takes over the town.
Bad snatch can do that though.
Bad snatch can take over a
it's a
village,
big
but
enough
not
family.
the entire,
If it's a whole family that
but
doesn't know
not
how
a
to
whole
clean.
town. It'll do like bad
And
snatch.
stinky balls.
Bad snatch can do a medium-sized village max.
Yeah, I remember
mean,
this one
people
time.
know that.
It took over El Porto. You remember that?
Yeah,
In
dude,
Manhattan
my
Beach?
aunt.
Yeah.
That was your aunt?
My
Diane.
aunt Adriana.
Diane?
And
Oh,
Diana. Yeah.
She
Her
had a nice
snatch
beach.
took over the whole beach?
Yeah, it was
Are
actually
you talking about the bakery? Portos?
no
That's
El
what we
Porto,
called her, yeah.
the surf break.
Oh, okay.
Which was
so
nice.
your aunt snatch took out a whole break?
Yeah, we got a ticket. Yeah.
How-
It
really?
was so lame, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, the government's infringing now on my
Wow.
on family snatch. No, thank you, dude.
Wow.
I'm moving to Florida, bro.
And with the
You
amount of
got
property,
cited for bad snatch?
Yeah, dude. $50 ticket.
the amount
your
of property
aunt.
tax she pays too.
I know for how much she's given to the city.
Yeah, the cops just ratted on her.
Wow. And that's Diane? What's her name?
Adriana Diane Parr.
Yeah,
Oh, she took out the whole break. The
Yeah.
whole beach.
Dude, it was nasty. Yeah.
big vagina.
But
Huge.
normally it's some kind of algae or something in the ocean.
For
you
sure,
know?
yeah, for sure.
And it's probably what a lot of the guys thought initially. I mean, they didn't know it was your aunt.
Nah, and she kept trying to blame the algae. She was like,
Yeah,
"It's the
yeah, that's what you
algae."
do.
And I was like,
You know,
dude,
you
we're-
do that like you fart, you blame the dog. You know what I mean? That's what you do with bad snatch at the beach. You blame the algae.
I just didn't like it. Some dudes were like, oh, like trying to talk hell to her about it. And I was like, you'd still go down on her. Like she's
Yeah.
a smoke, you know?
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Yeah. And a real man will plug it up and get into anything.
Oh, yeah. Put a little Vicks Vapor on the upper lip and just
Yeah.
go in like an autopsy.
Yeah,
Science of the Lamb style. That's what I do.
what men do,
That's
dude.
what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. That body's been in a swamp for 4 days.
Let it
I'm
marinate
going,
a
I'm
little
going
bit.
in.
Yeah. I want to taste your day.
it was
Yeah.
tough because her snatch took out the aqua surf school. Like they went out of
Oh,
business.
really?
Yeah,
they
they-
didn't reconstitute somewhere else?
I mean, it was peak July. That's peak surf school time, and 2 weeks out.
We went to the city council and it was like Agenda 2. And they're like, man, like it's been a seismic event for the economy. No, people
her.
aren't going to recover.
So like the
Yeah.
opposite of Taylor Swift.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got fined. Did you fight the ticket?
No, we paid it because like no lawyer would represent her.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they would just roll up in the house and be like, God damn. And then do it.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Sorry, where were we?
Oh, so the smell.
Yeah, it's always the ocean or the ant.
This was this is a ship docked in the harbor carrying 19,000 live cattle from Brazil to Iraq. Yeah, so the ship was supposed to depart soon. They've been on there for 2.5 weeks on board.
I'd cruise on the cattle cruise if they gave me a break.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? I'd be topside on a water slide. You know, you'd get used to the smell. Like as long as you're doing 18 knots in the right direction, the smell's kind of behind you.
Sure.
Yeah,
You know, so I could see myself on the cattle cruise. You know, fine dining steak every night.
Animal welfare groups, they're very upset about this. They've actually went and also investigated themselves, and they said that the smell is indicative indicative of the awful conditions the animals endure, having already spent 2.5 weeks on board with a buildup of feces and ammonia.
Was it a veal cruise?
Yeah, that's a smaller cabin.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if you were on a cruise and Kate Bosworth was your maid?
Oh,
man,
dude, now
I'd
we're
never
talking.
get off.
Yeah.
Like they'd be like, "We're in Puerto Vallarta." Like I'm staying.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Don't you want to have some of the local fare?" And like, "No, I'm good. I'm
be
staying in my
helping her
room."
If you did the
Yeah.
upper decker, she won't even be phased.
That's right.
on the cruise.
Do you think they'd give Kate Bosworth a ticket if her snatch shut down?
No. Maybe a lady officer, but no
Yeah.
bike, no beach bike cop would do
No,
that.
if she did it, there'd be like a GoFundMe for her.
Yeah,
I would
raise
just
the
get.
money.
I would make my junk smellier than hers just to make her feel good.
That's why you're a good guy.
Thanks, bro.
I'd go into that cattle barge and roll around for a little while just to get my stink level up, you know. Then I'd go match hers.
You can't be less stinky than Kate.
How much does it suck for the captain of the cattle barge? You know what I mean?
Oh,
Because
dude.
it's like, you know, like when you, if you ever talk to a guy and he'll go like, you talk to a commercial airline pilot and then they'll go, well, I flew in the military. And then you go, what'd you fly? You know, and the top of the list is like, I flew an F-18 Hornet, you know, or an F-4 Phantom or something. There's like, because we picture them, but that's like 2% of military pilots. The rest of them are flying like cargo shit and just like stupid, boring, you know what I mean? And so it's like when you hear captain of a ship, a top is like aircraft carrier, then we get into battleship, then we get into destroyer, then we get submarine captains. Like it kind of gets going, but cattle barge, that's like right next to like laundry ship, right? Like like you're pretty down on the pecking order. Like you walk into the cocktail party and you go, I'm a captain, a ship's captain. Everyone kind of goes, oh, cool. And then you hear cattle barge, just kind of like, meh.
Yeah, it feels like something you get bumped down for. Like you had 2 martinis before you took the submarine underwater, and now you've been put on the cattle.
Yeah.
barge.
Oh, you get busted
punished.
down to cattle barge captain.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were the captain of the Exxon Valdez. Then you got drunk and you ran it ashore. And now you're the cattle barge captain.
And now there's a war going on, and all the radar and systems have gone down on all the military ships. So you're the last one left. So you gotta find a way to weaponize these cows.
Yeah.
And take out the Russian brigade.
And your cook is Steven Seagal. Oh. And he
can't stop
he
killing
has
all the
training.
cows.
Yeah, you didn't know he had. Yeah. Yeah, this movie's going to write itself.
That's a fucking
cattle
good
barge.
yeah.
Do you think he rebrands himself as the Wagyu captain?
Oh, yeah. Probably it's like a euphemistic name, like the Wagyu wagon.
Yeah, the Wagyu
Still
wagon.
scurrying that down. But he's got to hang out at captain's bars, you know, and they got to
Yeah.
talk about cruise shipping and they got to talk about military stuff. And then he's the cattle.
Yeah, he
Probably
doesn't say
smells like the
much.
cattle when he comes on. If he had dreads, could you imagine what his hair would smell like?
Yeah.
Imagine if the captain of the cattle barge had full Bob Marley type dreads. His head would smell for like 9 months after he got off. There's like not enough shampoo to get the cattle smell out of his dread. I'll bet you almost no cattle barge captain rocks dreads.
And every night he plays the guitar for all the cattle.
That's right.
Just a nice little reggae tune.
Good vibes.
All right. Should we bring it home?
Yeah.
I had one
right.
line that the captain could say to the Russian brigade before he says, cattle barge, cattle charge.
That's good.
Thank you for letting me get that off,
That's
guys.
good.
It was a strong finale.
All right. Chad, JT podcast, Going Deep with Chad and JT, available wherever you listen to finer podcasts. And the website, we'll have some dates on it, right?
Yeah.
Chad and JT.
Check out the Booster Boys touring the country.
Hold on. Let me get the plug. ChadandJT.com. And you can find the Booster Boys out there.
Yeah, come to a show, get your shot.
I'm going to be in Vegas tomorrow
That's
night.
our merch.
Tomorrow night, doing 2 shows at Kimmel's Club out there. Just go to adamcrow.com because I'm going all over the place. Until next time, it's Adam for Chris and Chad and JT saying mahalo.